Hey guys, what's up? I'm Rafael Reich, I'm Brazilian, and I think most of you guys will recognize me from my last results, a win on ICS Rio playing the Snake Eyes Cashier strategy. Besides that, I'm also a 2 times ICS champion and 2 times World Championship player. On the last 4 years, I have been making videos for YouTube and for Yu-Gi-Oh! In Portuguese. Since I get a very big success of my later events, I think now it's a good time to start my own channel in English, so I can share with you guys all my thoughts about this game and about all the things I make to be prepared for more events. Yes, I know, my English pronounce is not the best and I hope to get better at it with time, and I still think what I have to say is more important than the way I'm gonna say them, how good is my pronounce. So, for getting things started, let's start a talk about why Tenpai Dragons is a terrible decision for entering an event and why it's gonna be so hard to see this deck winning events like ICS Indianapolis. By that, I mean ICSs that goes like 10 rounds, 11 rounds plus top cut. Because on my way to see the things, Tenpai Dragon is a terrible deck to enter a top cut. It might be a good deck for Swiss only events, but for an event that needs top cut, oh my god, I think that's a very weird decision to enter this event. Okay, first things first. ICS Rio was our first event after Legacy of Destruction was introduced into the game. And out of the top 32, we could saw 4 Tenpai Dragons and they all converted into the top 16, with only one of them going into top 8 and losing there. This doesn't mean by any chances that this deck is bad. The deck has a lot of very interesting things, and we can discuss that by the base deck list used by Everton Lucas to get into the top 8. In his deck list, he used like the regular base of the Tenpais, playing 3 Pydras, 3 Chandras, 2 Fendras, 3 Sungin Cayman, 3 Sungin Summoning, and basically all the regular extra deck cards with a plenty variety of random synchrons and random links that can make our strategy more aggressive. He's playing all the Trident Dragon, the Tenpai cards on extra deck, but he's also playing the Zealantis line to make OTK if you get the barrier. And this is a very basic deck. If you look further into just the deck list, you can see he's playing 15 hand traps, 6 cards that can be considered board breakers, and Magna Hood that is a perfect mix of engine plus hand trap, because being able to add any dragon from your deck to your hand, you can also be able to add your Pydras, your Chandras and your Fadras from your deck to your hand. And this deck strategy is nothing more to, I'm gonna hand trap my opponent until his combo is done, and that's why he's playing all the hand traps that are very good to stop the Snake Eyes strategy, because if your opponent opens a regular hand of Snake Eyes being consisted of a Snake Eye Ash and a Jabal Star, if you have Effect Veiler and Impermanence, if you have Effect Veiler and Ghost Mourner, if you have Ghost Mourner and Infinite Impermanence, you are more than able to stop your opponent, then the turns come back to you, and you can just do your OTK plays with your Tenpai cards. This is not a bad strategy, and we gotta be fair. The deck just won his first big event, winning the Peruvian Nationals in the hands of Renzo Ervanini. The deck, overall, it's not bad. But let's look further than just the results of the Peruvian Nationals. This was, first of all, a small event over like the big events on the United States and Europe. This was a 400 people event. And the top 16 of this event was 3 Tenpais, 3 Snake Eye decks, 2 Voiceless Voice, and then a lot of random decks like 2 Kashiras, 1 Labyrinth, 1 Rika, 1 Branded. This isn't what we expect as the meta game should look like. So the winning of Tenpai here is fair, it's good, but it is not very significant that this deck is like better than the Snake Eyes strategy and you should give more looks into it. But especially when I tell you guys that it's not a good idea to enter an event with Tenpai Dragon, I'm not talking about just your odds to making into top cut. I think if you wanna go for an event, the first thing you have to feel is like, can I win this event? And I feel like many of you guys who enter an event with a Tenpai Dragon are not taking a fair amount of respect for how bad this deck is into a top cut. Because, okay, you made it. We are going for day 2. And you are on top 16, on top 32 of your event. From now on top 32, top 16, top 8, top 4, and finals, all your opponents will know that you are playing the Tenpai Dragon. So if you lose any dice roll, you are gonna lose that game. because your strategy is so reliant on the going second that even though you can do nice plays going first, like you can proceed and make like Fang here, Hierarchic CEO, and like 2 more hand traps, this is decent, but this many of times this isn't enough to stop your opponent. And if you are gonna play into like 5 rounds of top cut, having to win your dice rolls, this is not very interesting, at least, because that will make you very, very heavily dependent on your lucky. Okay, it's a very competent deck to get you into a top 32 of the event. To me, it feels like you are never gonna win an event with Tenpai Dragons, because to get rid of your advantage that your opponent has by knowing that you are in a Tenpai Dragon, you have to get lucky on top 32, top 16, top 8, top 4, and finals. And that is also especially important for good players. Like, if you are Pac, if you are Jess Cotton, after the 2 rounds of events that you are playing Tenpai, all the people on your venue are gonna be talking, oh my god, Pac's playing this deck, oh my god, Jess Cotton is playing this deck. And this is a very, very, very bad thing to happen to you, because then from now on, all your opponents are gonna make you go first, and this is gonna make your life much, much harder. And I'm not saying that the deck can't make a competent field by going first. In fact, it can. We can make the Hierarchic Seal, we can make so many boards that are very, very, very good into the actual meta. But it's not as good as a Tenpai Dragon going second. And this is gonna make you in so many problems, especially in the times that you don't draw a very good hand, like the times you draw going first, a 3 Tenpai cards hand plus 2 Ghost Mourners, for example. If your opponent makes you go first, and that's your hand, bro, I have nothing to say, you probably lose this match already. And this is a very, very big problem. Like, that's why I don't recommend anyone to enter an event with Tenpai Dragons, because on the same point that someone has the information that you are playing Tenpai Dragons, you are never gonna be able to go second again unless you win the die roll. And if you win the die roll, your opponent will know that you are playing Tenpai Dragons, and this is already bad, because he can go for main deck options that many people are doing right now, like Kikinagashi Fushu and like the Larry Lusk Assemble Nightingale. The people are putting up so much respect for the Tenpai strategy that it makes like barely possible to enter with Tenpais in an event. Because, okay, if you don't win your dice roll, at some point the people will know that you are in Tenpais, and the people are gonna make you start. And even if you win the dice roll and you make them start, they are already playing so much hate for our Tenpai strategy that is gonna make us so much problems. And that's why I simply don't feel worth it to take it seriously an event, because when I enter an event, I'm always taking it seriously. Even though I think I'm not the best player at the venue, I still gonna play the deck that feels like the best option for this event. The deck that gives me more opportunities to do well at that event. And Tenpai Dragons will never be this deck, because from all what I say, you are not gonna win the event, because at the top cut you need to win 5 dices in a row, because if some of these dices are lost and your opponent makes you going first, you are so cooked up. And even though if you win that dices and you don't draw a good enough combination of cards, the game is already very bad for you. And this is a especially bad thing, because now the people who are going first, since Tenpai is getting way more popular, a lot of decks that weren't supposed to be that good are becoming way better, because they are decks that are very good going first and do shit when going second. This is the case, for example, of Labyrinth. Labyrinth is a deck that if you make Labyrinth going first, is way better for him. And as a Tenpai player, you have to make them going first. There is no such thing like an option to go first and do a nice play. Those matchups are so cursed for you, and that's why I don't think you should enter an event with this deck. If you like the theory behind this video, if you don't like playing Tenpai Dragons as much as I don't like, please use the comments. I will ask you to subscribe, to give me a like, and to share this channel to new people. Would really appreciate it. Well, that's it. Goodbye. See you next video.